Oh, can y'all hear me now? Hello.
Hi,
Hi,
Nickquolette.
I am so excited to be here, and we are about to do a retake. I am so glad that you joined me again, Nyrobi, because your information was so awesome. I've had people wanting to watch the last your live, but they said, well, it was hard to hear. And I said, I know we had some trouble and some difficulties, but that's okay. She was so awesome. I'm just going to have her back. I'm so glad you're here with me. Okay, everyone, just in case you all don't know, I am Nickquolette Barrett. I am your virtual career development strategist, and I come to you every week with an awesome guest to share their expertise as well as give a little glimpse into their day-to-day job in their chosen field. So this is iRock.tv. We come here every Thursday at 12:15, and we have a very candid conversation about, careers, about the triumphs, some of the failures, or as I call them, the failures in our careers. And my guests, they're open to be as candid as possible because the tagline for the iRock.tv show is real talk, real careers, and real results. So we're going to be just as candid. And if you have questions, of course, pop them in and we will take an opportunity to answer your question and also recognize you for being on the show and watching us live today as well. So I am so excited to be able to bring Nyrobi back again. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about her, and then I'll cut over to my quick commercial, and then we'll get to chatting. So a little bit about Miss Nyrobi. Nyrobi is an online college professor of business management and leadership for a private university in the Midwest, as well as a remote instructional designer and faculty instructor for a newly established university in the Southeast. She is a founder and CEO of Striving Development Solutions, where she specializes in creating online self-paced courses in foreign languages and African American history. And she's also self-published books. So she's doing self-publishing ebooks in the same subject area. So she teaches that as well. She is also a certified professional resume writer and a certified resume writing business owner, certified by iRock. Yes. So I'm so excited she went through the first course that we had where I was certifying resume writers so that they can know how to run a business. It's not just about writing resumes, but it's about how do you run a business. So she's a certified resume writer, business owner. I'm so excited under the umbrella of iRock Development Solutions, LLC. And she is also the co-author of 3 books: Role Models, African American Professionals in Peoria, Illinois, 2008, Shut 'Em Down, Black Women, Racism, and Corporate America, released just in 2020, and Can't Tell Me Nothing, The Uncomfortable Hair Truths of Black Women, released in, I think it was just released, so we'll get to talk about that as well, 2021. She received her Master's of Business Administration and Management from Roosevelt University, and that's in Illinois, and has extensive experience in higher education, instructional design, human resources, and early childhood education. Welcome,
Thank you, Nickquolette, for having me back.
yes, excellent. So I am going to go ahead and go over to our quick commercial, and then we're going to start the chat. Okay.
Okay.
All right, let's acknowledge who we have in our audience real quick. We got Tammy saying, hey. Hey, Tammy, thank you for joining us. And we got Miss Jaquetta. What's going on, girl? I hope everything is well, Jaquetta. Oh, I'm so excited to have you all join us for another episode. And we're going to talk about online instruction, how to become a professor in online instruction, and just get a peek into Nyrobi. So Nyrobi, I already introduced you. What else would you like to tell the audience before we get to the meat of the interview?
Well, of course, currently I am an online professor of business management and leadership for a private university here in the Midwest.
Mhm.
I'm also an instructional designer for a private university out in the Southeast area. I've been doing that for about a little over a year now for both
Yes.
positions. One of the things I did want to say is if you're looking to get into online teaching or teaching, in the classroom, I know with COVID, everything's more towards online. But if you, one of the things I suggested from my experience, I really didn't have a lot of experience with online teaching. So what I did was I decided to go ahead and start my own small online teaching business, which is Thriving Potential Academy.
I love it.
I developed some of the online self-paced courses in Spanish, French, and Italian, and then I did develop some African American history courses because I wanted to get that experience in course development. And then I was offered a position to teach the online business management and leadership, and it's a cohort that I'm teaching. It's just 2 classes. It's a certificate program, and it's specifically designed for Walmart employees across the country.
Oh, that is awesome.
And I had originally had been hired in February last year, but when COVID hit, I had to wait 6 months. But I was finally hired to start teaching those classes in August of last year, and I really love it. I love the students, and it's just been so terrific.
Oh, that is so wonderful. I'm going to dig all up in that in a minute, but let's go ahead and talk about this. Okay, so when you're talking about one of the things that we really got into that I wish the people, our audience would have heard last time is basically what is one thing you wish you had known when you began your career in this space of online instruction, because there's a lot of people who would love to do that. A lot of people who have master degrees and have some desire to, try their hand. Maybe they don't want to leave and become a full-time professor or instructor, but they want to try it. So what is one of the things that you wish you would have known before you began your career?
I kind of wish that I would have had more connections in industry. I had in community colleges before, maybe in the service work, not necessarily teaching perspective. Things I really wish I had those connections. And when I got out of high school, I was originally an English major. One of the things I wanted to do was become an English teacher eventually. I wasn't really sure if I wanted to teach high school or college, but the goal at the time, and I didn't finish my degree because financial issues, but I did eventually go back to school, my bachelor's in business administration and my master's. So I got my master's. You know what? I've always loved to teach, and I'm going to go and become a college instructor.
And that's really good that you talked about how you walked through that. And Tammy says, send me more information about your courses. We'll make sure that you get that. Thank you, Tammy. But I love that you said that because you've always had a desire to teach and you were thinking about teaching. And then, when we go to school, sometimes finances, happen, college is not cheap at all. But I love the fact that Nyrobi, you said you went back to school and then, you got your bachelor's in business administration and then you got your MBA as well. So then it's like, okay, but I really still love to teach. So you took that teaching and now you're teaching business management courses and stuff, that is absolutely phenomenal. And that also shows me the tenacity to go back to your first love. You've had other jobs in between. I did your resume, so I know all about it. So, but then you got to your original love, and that's what you wanted to do. And that shows career transition, in my opinion, as well. As a career transition certified coach, it's about how do you transform, take your skills and things that you also love and package them so that you can do what you want to do. And it's okay. And to tiptoe in it until you do it. So I want to talk about the fact that you started your online courses first. So then let's talk about that because you use that as a leverage to be able to become hired by a private university. So talk about how you did that and how did you stand that up? What went into you having your own online course for yourself?
Well, what I did was I did some research and I was able to find a teaching platform called Teachable. And it was easy to set up. So what I love to do is I love, I have tons of notebooks with so much information in them. So what I did was kind of I wrote out what I wanted to write down as far as the classes.
Yes.
And so I did that. I did the outline and everything. And I still had old copies of when I was in my bachelor's and master's programs of the syllabuses. So I kind of did that as an outline. So I wrote everything down. And then based on the teachable platform I had, I just, put my information in there. And then I used, I don't know if you ever heard of Quizlet.
Yes, my daughter. Yes. Yes.
And I
Yes.
use that for my videos. So when you go in my classes on Teachable, you'll see, the videos, and one it'll say like for instance Uno, and then it'll say one, and it's animated, so it's more interactive for everybody to learn. And it took me a while to, and I was working at the time, I was working a full-time job because my last job before COVID hit, I was working in HR, and I would work like 8 to 4:30, and then I'd come home and I'd be doing that for like up until 10 o'clock that night. So I was doing that every day, even on the weekends. I was developing those classes because I wanted to, design those classes because I love doing that course development.
And I love that you did that. So you ended up saying, okay, I'm going to build my own to get my experience, because it is challenging to go into something that you haven't been doing to make that switch without having a background in it. So you said, well, that's not going to stop my love of teaching. I'm going to create my own platform. And it's so wonderful that they do have those platforms out there that you can use to start teaching your skill set, starts teaching your expertise in different varieties, and then get your own, sometimes you could just get your friends on there to learn what you're doing and give you good feedback and stuff to say, okay, can I do that? Even when we did the IROC business course, I said, okay, y'all my beta testers. I said, because when you all's feedback is going to allow me to develop it to launch to the world, and you all were fabulous. So we walked through that together because you have a skill set that you want to do. So I love that you use your tenacity to say, okay, I'm working full time in a total different area, but how can I still leverage what I know and what I want to do in another way? Because, a lot of us do work full time and have our side gigs, and because of something that we love to do, even myself, because people know I work full time in corporate America as a corporate leader, leading a team, but I love what I do in the career development and management space, and I do that externally. And I don't care that, as they have the commercials about the 9 to 5 and then the 5 to 9, that's who I am. And I know you did that as well. And now you work it in your love. And that's what's so exciting. So let's talk about some of the real talk. So what is your biggest failure, and what did you learn from it, Nyrobi?
Well, one of the biggest failures that I believe that I wish I would have sooner in my career, I wish I would have completed my bachelor's degree, because I mentioned that I wanted to be an English teacher. I wish I would have, completed my bachelor's degree in English. That was one of the things I really loved was English, and then I also had minored in Spanish because my other was to become a Spanish teacher as well.
Yes.
And well, eventually, I did that love of that. The languages did come out because now I have those online courses now. So in the beginning, I wish I would have completed it, but I mean, getting to this point now, I still did it. So that's what more so meaningful. And so I did fulfill that, but not sooner in my life.
And you just told us basically it's never too late. And one of the things I know I meant to mention as far as networking, because networking is very huge. And when you're developing something, tell us, how did you do your networking in order to land the role that you have now?
Well, the things I did, of course, I did go on LinkedIn because and one of the strategies I did, and I would suggest this to the others that are wanting to get into, either college teaching or into instructional design, is as far as the teaching aspect, One of the things I did, and it took a lot of time, I reached out to the deans of business departments on LinkedIn and kind of, expressed my interest. I have an MBA, and I'm interested in wanting to know if you have any openings or opportunities available in your department. So that was one of the things I did. And it did eventually work out because I was able to get the position over at where I'm teaching now. And I'm actually looking for other opportunities. And I actually have a interview coming up with the University of Arizona Global Campus next week.
Get out! Oh, so see there, you planted those seeds by doing your networking and reaching out, because again, you're very tenacious. You had tenacity to say, this is what I want to do. I have a background by developing my own platform to give me the experience. Because sometimes they say, you need experience, but how am I going to get experience if you won't give me experience? There's ways to create your own way of getting that experience. Then you leverage that to get the job that you have now for a private university. Now here's that resume building, right? And then now you can, because we put it all on LinkedIn. So now they can see what you've done. And now you have this interview for global camp. Oh my gosh, I think I'm about to pass out. Y'all, are you all hearing this? How the fact that she leveraged networking and LinkedIn with a platform, being in where you live right now?
I live in Peoria, Illinois. I live between Chicago and St. Louis.
I'm very familiar with Peoria. Yeah, we have good friends down there that pastor a church and everything down there. So we're very familiar. We used to go down there to, my husband used to preach for the McConnell. So Mark McConnell and Paris McConnell. So we know them very well. Yes, know them very well. We're very close-knit families. So I'm very familiar. So I say all of that because you're in a small town and it doesn't matter where you are. LinkedIn is a global platform where you can network. And if you don't try, you won't know how it will work for you. So using that in InMail, looking at the different places where you want to work. Alyssa said, yes, we are. Yep. Being able to leverage those things. It's like, you know what? It's saying, let me see what resources I have. How can I utilize them? And so that I can get to where I want to go. So basically, Nyrobi, you've taken all my coaching and girl, you have implemented it. You are just going whoop, 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 whoop. I'm like, man, girl, I'm just like in awe because this makes my heart happy, and it goes to show this is what we have to do to get to where we want to go, right? So I love that. Okay, so what advice would you give to someone wanting to pursue a career like yours? I think we probably covered it. So if you were to say the 2 to 3 things that you would recommend if they wanted to start today, Nyrobi, what would you tell them to do?
I would basically tell them, keep trying, don't give up. Go on LinkedIn and network with people in your the industry that you want to teach in. Things. Reach out to the deans of the departments in the area where your master's degree is. Oh, and I did want to also mention, for me, since I do have my MBA, if you have a master's degree. That is one of the requirements if you want to teach undergraduate classes. One of the things you can also do is you can get what's called a graduate certificate alongside with your master's degree. And only an 18-hour requirement. So you want to do some research to look around because you want to make sure it's an accredited university. The 18 hours is a requirement to teach any subject matter. Look for those areas. And then with that graduate certificate, that can actually help you more to expand your knowledge and teach more subjects.
I love that because a lot of times we think we have to have the full master's degree, but when you're teaching at a junior college, if you have your bachelor's and a graduate certificate in the area, you will have the opportunity to get in and start teaching almost like on a part-time basis to get your feet wet, and then decide to pursue, if you want to, your full master's degree, or just stick and just do that in the undergraduate school. I mean, not undergrad, the junior college. Is that correct?
Yes.
So y'all hear her. Okay, for you all are on the fence, those who have these expertise, especially being in corporate America for a long time. If you want to teach something and have a desire to teach, look into graduate certificates. Do your research, like Nyrobi said. Find out what it takes. Then, after you get that under your belt, we have time. Do it now. Then make those connections for those universities or those junior colleges in your area. Like we have wonderful ones right here in Texas. We have the Dallas Community College. We have Collin College, which is huge. And Collin College, they're so spread out. They look like a major university. So many different ones that you can get your feet wet and do that. And if you have that passion and desire to do any kind of training, so please make sure that you're doing that. So I love that you said that. Okay, let's see. So what are the best resources that have helped you along the way?
Well, definitely you. You've been, I've known you for a long time. You've helped me so much, with determining what my passion is. Other thing I would say, definitely go to LinkedIn. If you're looking to, enhance your professional development, they have what's called LinkedIn Learning, and there's so, and you can take your time on those, and you'll get a certificate, which will automatically go onto your LinkedIn profile. One of the other things I've been kind of doing is called content writing. Content writing kind of consists of, you go and you develop some, and I've basically been doing that with my small business, writing content, but that's one of the things I've been doing also. So I've been doing quite a bit of stuff.
Yes.
Content writing is another area you can get into. If you love writing and English, you can get into that too. And being a peer, what's called a peer reviewer. A peer reviewer, what that means is you can, like a chapter of a textbook, for instance, you could go in and, see if there's grammatical errors and things like that. So that's another area you could look into if you're interested. So I've been doing that on the side too.
And see, I love that we're talking about this, because this goes in line with my book that's going to be coming out sometime this summer about unconventional job searching and really trying to find a niche to do what you want to do. And to me, if you love to write, there's so many different things that you can do. Yes, a lot of us fall into careers and jobs and stuff like that because we have student loans to pay, right? We got to get a job. We got to pay these student loans. And then when you grow up in the organization, you're like, I actually have talents for other things. And what else do I want to do? So it's about taking the time, and yes, get with a career coach to talk through those opportunities and things that you can think differently to make sure that you're getting to what you want to do. Because one of the tagline for iRock resumes is not only to land a job. I tell people, no, I want you to land a job of your dreams and then create a career that rocks. And you have done all of those steps, because me and you've been working on and off with each other. Shoot, Nyrobi, 5 years now? Girl, I ain't got so many iterations of your resume and my system. When I pull up your name, I got all kinds of stuff. So it's about what do you do and keep developing that. And you have, when you came to me, when you were in that HR, you were like, this is what I really want to do. I said, well, let's look at what we can do with your resume to start building up those skills. And you have done that. And here you are now in an actual role for a private university, getting that experience, then interviewing for a global opportunity for a university in Arizona. I mean, these are the types of things. So I want you, the audience, to hear her and see how she's done these things, because it doesn't matter that it's not going to happen immediately for you. It's about what are the steps are you taking to get to where you want to go. It's not necessarily a race. It's a sprint. And only the people who are sticking with it win. Don't give up at the first, challenge or obstacle, because life happens, y'all. It just does. And Jacqueline is like, yes. I can just hear her, yes. So it's about, what do you want to do? And the thing is, you have to start now. You cannot wait and say, well, I wish I could have, woulda. It doesn't matter. You have people going back to school getting degrees at 80 years old, because it's like, you know what? If I always want to do it, why not? So take the opportunity to do something now. Put a plan in place and work your plan. And that's what Nyrobi and I did. She worked her plan, so it can happen. So, oh my gosh, this is so awesome. This is better than the last one. Okay, so let me talk about this. Let me see. So, who are the 2 to 3 people who have been the most influential to you as you go through going through your career?
Well, first and foremost, I want to say my mom.
Yes.
Very influential in helping me, not to get discouraged. She always just do the best. You just do the best you can at whatever you achieve. That's all that matters.
Yes.
For my mom. Another person, I had mentioned this in the last time we had spoken, Dr. Rita Ali. I had mentioned the last time that they had the elections, the primary elections, to determine who was going to be the mayor.
Yes.
The main election there's 2 candidates. It's her and another gentleman. The election is April 16th here. If she wins, she would be the first African American woman in our city.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
She's the first Hispanic mayor of our city. So it's
people of color. So that's either way, it's a win.
It's a win for everybody.
Yes. That is awesome.
Yeah, she's definitely been and I've known her for 15 years. She was very influential, and she is actually the one that started. She developed the first book I co-authored with her, the book. That was something, a dream of hers. And then when I came along as an AmeriCorps Vista, that was something she wanted to do. So we got that developed together, and that was one of the things. So yeah, she's awesome. Very influential.
Now we got to talk about your books. I hope you have them next to you. So come on, tell us a little bit about the books. I'm going to put my Yes, again, back to your love of writing and getting those opportunities, because I tell people, if you don't want to write your own book, co-author a book with someone else to get your feet wet. I did that 3 times just to make sure that was something I wanted to do before I wrote my own 2 full books. And now I'm on my 3rd one. So therefore, it's a great way to become a published author. That's the difference. Not just an author, but a published author that you can also put as a credibility to your skill set, speaking about what you bring to the table. So let's talk about your books.
Okay, well, the very first one that I just co-authored, the first one I co-authored in December of last year is called Shut 'Em Down, Black Women, Racism in Corporate America. And I actually have it here. You can see.
Yes. Look at that beautiful cover.
The lady that was the editor, her name is Dr. Carrie Yazid. I had been a part of her Business Women's Association for a while, and one said, just looking for co-authors that have had experiences with discrimination in the workplace. So I thought, well, you know what? Let me go ahead and I submitted my chapter, and it's been a success. I mean, it's Amazon right now, and within the first couple of weeks on Amazon, it was a bestseller.
Yes. Awesome.
Yeah. So
Yes.
Definitely.
Yep. So Precious, yes, go right on Amazon and show it one more time. So the name of it is Shut 'Em Down.
Black Women, Racism in Corporate America.
Yes. Go out there and get it. Yep, I have my copy. And what's the other book that you have?
Okay, and the other one that just recently came out last is Can't Tell Me Nothing, The Uncomfortable Hair Truths of Black Women. And then they talk about, each author talks about, as well as myself, about discrimination in the workplace as regarding our hair.
Yes. And how it should be. Should it be straight, or can we wear it natural? Some of us are naturally curly, and sometimes we're not naturally curly, but it's still our natural state of hair. Yeah, that has been a long thing in corporate America for a very long time. Yeah. So those books are very beneficial. And I love that they're your personal stories, because you can see yourself in those stories, because yep, I remember that happened to me. So congratulations on co-authoring those books, and congratulations on them being bestsellers. Again, you can find those books out on Amazon, or you can reach out to Nyrobi directly about the books as well. Can't they reach out to you directly?
Yeah, they can actually reach out to me. They can reach out to me at Nyrobi Wheeler, MBA at gmail.com.
Gotcha. I got you. And that's how you spell her name. So it's Nyrobi. And you can also hook up with her on LinkedIn. Please connect with Nyrobi, because she is out there. She's on LinkedIn. She's interacting on LinkedIn and everything. So please make sure you're connecting with her that way as well. And if you order directly from her, then she'll get an opportunity to sign it for you. And I'm always more about signing it, because it's a bigger support for the actual author, and seeing that you're supporting them. So I would say, if you can, to go directly to her first, and then, the Amazon the back way if you need to. Yeah, I love it. Okay, so let's see.
I did want to let you know that your copy of this is coming to you, so you should be getting this soon, because I just sent it out to you last week. You should be
awesome. Yeah, because I did my pre-order. So anytime I'm like, yep, where do I order? Support. I love it. Awesome. Okay, so if you can step into my shoes right now, Nyrobi, is there something I did not ask that you want to share before we wrap up this interview?
Well, let's see. Yeah, I did want to mention that, well, I kind of did mention this, but, if you really want to get into teaching, don't give up. And if you can't really get into teaching at this point, do the route that I did, or you can become a reviewer. You can, review chapters of textbooks. And to me that is fun. I love doing that, because I love grammar and spelling and all that stuff. And a lot of the old shows, where you have to determine, like Wheel of Fortune is like my favorite, because we try to guess, and I've always had a love of that. So don't give up, and try to find a different avenue. Have a plan A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
I love it. That's right.
Yeah. So basically, don't give up, and try to come up with other ideas, creative ideas, to help, we get out there and reach out there to the others that, because I love the students. They're great. And I've also worked in early childhood education too. So I worked with numerous different areas of education, early childhood, pre-K, up to college.
Exactly. Yep. And so that's good, because that way that they can know that they can actually do it. And look, Precious said, excellent advice. Thank you. Precious is like, I'm so glad you're on there, girl. Yeah. Because it's so true. We cannot give up. If there's something that you want to do, be tenacious, have tenacity to keep going, and not give up on your dreams. Age is nothing but a number. So don't think that your time has passed. That is not the case. You can do it. As a certified career transition coach, most of my clients are transitioning from different positions into new positions because they figured out, you know what, I want to do something different. Now that I have this skill set, what else can I do? So you can make that change. Just be tenacious about it and do it, and take this advice that Nyrobi has shared with us to be able to land your dream job, and not just a job, and then create a career that rocks, because you'll be so much happier that you're working in your zone of genius, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you crack me up because you said, well, I like doing that. It's fun. And people are like, oh, I can't even deal with writing. So that's so cute, because that means that you are in your field where you belong, because some people think writing is not fun. So I love that you said that, and it shows that you're in the joy of what you're doing and everything. So I love that. So folks, I want you all to make sure you connect with her again at Nyrobi Wheeler MBA at gmail.com. Reach out to her, and I'm sure she'll be happy to entertain any questions offline that you have for her. And also, reach out to her on LinkedIn. So please do that. And if you have any other questions, just reach out and we can ask her before we end. Okay, so my last question to you, Miss Nyrobi. When I say I rock, what does that mean to you? Finish that sentence.
I rock because I make a difference in people's lives by helping them learn different subject matter areas and expanding their knowledge.
Oh, nice. I love it. Okay, so you all know where to reach out to me at iRock at iRockResumes.com. Connect with me on all of my social media, LinkedIn, Nickquolette Barrett, and also all my social media. And if you are watching the replay, please make sure you put hashtag replay so I know that you watch, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. There's over 100+ videos there for you to help you grow in your career. And these interviews, I think we're up to like 8 interviews right now for the year. So get out there, including Miss Precious is on there as well, and take a look at those interviews, because all of my guests have been so powerful in sharing their career journey, and you can learn something from each one of them. That is out there for you. And if you're not on my VIP email list, I have this group called the Break Room. We're having a session tonight, and we get on. It's only for people on my email list, and it's only for clients. And we have sessions about career development. We're talking about time management today. Last week, we talked about, what was we talking about? How to on the job. We're having some good water checks. So it's called the Break Room. The only way you can get into that group is if you subscribe to my email list. So go to iRockResumes.com, get a free download book at the same time, and then you'll be able to have access to that group. Okay, so get on there today, because we have some great things. And take a moment to buy me a cup of coffee. Okay, so buy me a cup of coffee if you enjoyed this, because this is listener and viewer supported. So your donations help me continue to do these great interviews. All right. Well, you have any parting words, Nyrobi, before we end?
No, I just want to say thank you, Nickquolette, for giving me the opportunity to come back on and talk to everybody about my experience in my particular area. And, guys, just keep supporting, Nickquolette. She has been so wonderful and a great mentor.
Thank you so much, Nyrobi. And I didn't pay her to say that, y'all. No. Y'all know I'm crazy. So thank you so much for being gracious enough to come back on. So what I'm going to do, Nyrobi, is the episode that's out there now. Ian is going to do this one and replace it with this episode for that, because now it's clearer, and this great information is now for all to see. Okay.
Okay, awesome.
All right. So hold on so I can do the outro. Thank you all so much for joining. I will see you all next week, same time, same place.